you guys doing a character that's not of your age. If you want to change it around, I think it's good to practice transformation in that way. Generally speaking, you want to try to play things closer to yourself rather than someone who's like vastly different in terms of age. But it sometimes you might be called on to play a part that's very different from your age for various reasons. So, and even if not, it's good to practice transformation like that. So feel free to do a character who's not of your age. So let's just do a read through. So we've got Flinders Street Station platform. Jenny sees her mum waiting for her. Jenny: hi, mum. Hi, yourself. Where's your other bag? Jenny: left it at Dad's. Mum: why? I've told you 2 bags go with you, 2 bags come home with you. It's the same with your t-shirts. Don't seem to have any at home. They're all at his house and seems he doesn't want to wash them. What does he do, eat them? Jenny: Mum, chill. I left it there because the strap broke and Dad's going to fix it. God, what happened to you today to put you in such a mood? Mum: how was he anyway? Jenny: good, fine, I guess. Mum: so he's good and fine. Happy too? Jenny: yes, he's happy, and I'm glad I'm taking time out from my marriage sort of happy, and the I can wear my dirty shirt all weekend if I like kind of happy. Mum: he wears his dirty shirt all weekend. No wonder no t-shirts coming back washed. Yeah, well, I'm happy too, in the I'm going out with Terry tonight sort of way. Jenny: great, Mum. Let's channel through your only daughter all your insecurities and the need to make your husband, my father, jealous, with the hope that I will go running to the phone tonight and tell him. Real mature. Jenny walks off towards the car park. Okay, so that's the scene. So let's start with just a summary of what's going on here. Again, feel free to create your own interpretations, your own little bits and pieces, as always. But essentially, we have a parent-child relationship where the mum, in this case, but feel free to make it the dad and the other way around, is clearly not, or I would argue, clearly not over the relationship and very connected and jealous about insecure about where things are at between themselves and their ex-partner. And it feels to me like the mum character, or dad if you're playing as dad, is perhaps the one that was more rejected in the relationship, and so is still feeling very rejected by that and trying to build up their ego and protect themselves against that. And Jenny says he's happy in the I'm glad I'm taking up from my marriage sort of happy. That and how the mum's reacting, to me, paints a picture of the mum was the more rejected one in the relationship, and that he's kind of doing the I'm taking time from my marriage. And that's an interesting way to phrase it. So maybe they're doing like a trial separation. They're not necessarily like over forever, and that would kind of play into a little bit about how mum's kind of desperately trying to get info about the dad. So that's essentially what's going on. And then for Jenny, it's obviously that's going to have a psychological impact on you. So let's just do some basic scene breakdown. So in terms of the world we're in like family world. Yeah. So divorced family or separated family or something to the effect of that. That's the world that we're in. The conflict. What's the conflict? The conflict is that the mum is, I think Jenny says it pretty well. Mum's trying to channel through her only daughter all her insecurities and the need to make the husband jealous with the hope that she'll go running to the phone and tell him. Yeah? So that is kind of a pretty good summary of the conflict. That the mum is trying to get information from Jenny about the father, and trying to kind of put him down through the daughter, and the daughter's like, that's not cool, and there we have the conflict. Yeah. So backstory, feel free to make this as colourful and full as you'd like, but essentially some kind of separation going on, child, piggy in the middle, etc. What happens in the scene to push the plot forward? So this, again, it depends what other scenes have come before this, but this is a scene where maybe it's come to a bit of a head where this is the most that the mum has ever kind of asked about the husband, like kind of going off at him through her kind of way. and trying to make him jealous through her kind of a way. So this might, bring to a head the conflict between the mother and the child about how this is being handled. And maybe Jenny gets the clearest idea of how badly her mum is handling this situation. So it tells the audience that the mum's not handling this situation very well, and that's a key plot point, right? This scene, in terms of where this scene comes, it could be that there's little bits of clearly they're not, they're not handling it that well in certain little ways, but maybe it's not coming to the surface, and then maybe this is the first scene where we see mum kind of act quite immaturely in a way that clearly she's not able to keep it together, and then maybe it escalates further in the next scene or whatever. Relationships, so we just have a mother and daughter, or a father and daughter, or a mother and son, or a father and son, or whatever it is. So think about how you see yourself and how you see the other character in the scene. So again, up to how you want to conceptualize this that really inspires you to play the scene in a way that brings you to life. So if you're playing the mum character, how do you see yourself? Well, you might see yourself as quite pathetic because you feel really insecure about yourself because you've been rejected by the father. And that would really feed into, the fear and the jealousy and the desperation. I think that could be really useful. How do you see the daughter? Well, I think an interesting thing is that you're not seeing the daughter enough in this scene, that you're kind of blinded to her by your own stuff. And perhaps you even see her as like a conduit, a way that you can get to the father, which is not a great way to be seeing your child necessarily. And you might even want to be thinking about her as like a reflection of her father in some way, if you want to get really kind of dark with it, interesting with it, of like, she's going off at Jenny at the start. I've told you 2 bags go with you, 2 bags come home with you. Yeah? So, whilst it's mostly on the father, I think it's interesting if it starts with a bit on Jenny of like, because she's the closest representation of the father in this moment. And for Jenny, you're seeing your mother as really immature, clearly. As she said, it's like real mature. It would be interesting, I think, rather than just like, you're being immature. It's like you're also, again, seeing her as a bit pathetic and feeling sorry for her in some way, and you do feel for her, and it's that mixture as a child of like, oh God, I really feel for you, and I'm sad, and it breaks my heart that you're like this, but I'm angry because you're the adult and you're meant to be able to handle this better, and what are you doing? And this is not okay that you're putting this on me. Yeah, and then you have a whole world about how you just see the mother. And then how you see yourself is maybe trapped in between these two people. Crushed and unfairly given the role of having to be the mature one and having to deal with all this stuff and rise above it. And it's like, that's not fair. I shouldn't have to do that. You're my parents. Figures so that. Beat. So there's a nice progress in terms of the journey of this, in terms of how outright it gets about talking about the father. So it's like, why haven't you got the 2 bags? Yeah, I left at Dad's. Why? Okay, we're talking about Dad. There's a bit going on here about Dad, maybe underneath it, but it's on the surface about Jenny and Mum. I told you 2 bags come with you. Same with his shirts, yeah? You don't seem to have any at home, right? They're all at his house. It seems he doesn't wash them. What does he do with them? Eat them. So then it kind of shifts to now it's a bit more about him. The strap broke. Yeah. Okay. How was he anyway? So there's a bit of a shift. So the first beat is about the bags and the shirts and rah, and then how was he anyway? That could be a beat change there. Because now it's asking about the father directly, not to do with the daughter. Good, fine I guess. So he's good and fine, happy too, wanting more information, it's building. Yeah, he's happy in the rah. Once she says the stuff about I'm glad it's taking time out for my marriage, look for triggers in the other people's lines for things that change you, and don't wait till they've finished it to be triggered by it. Be triggered by it when you hear it. That's why listening is so important. When she says I'm glad I'm taking time out for my marriage, I imagine, boom, that is a big trigger for the mum character or for the dad character. Yeah? And then she goes into a bit more attack. No wonder no teacher's coming back. Yeah, well, I'm happy too, yeah. It triggers her into the like, I'm trying to protect my ego by inflating it. I'm going out with Terry, That's the tactic of the ego to try to inflate itself and to try to make the other person feel bad by making him jealous. And then that triggers Jenny into, oh God, I can't believe I have to deal with this stuff, and how dare you really, like, trying to channel me and all your insecurities. And then that's kind of where it all comes to a head. So we've got a bit of that yohaku, and then Jenny walking off towards the car park. That's the resolution. Cool. So you want to think about the moment before as well. So what has just happened? So hi yourself. So they've just arrived together. So mum has just arrived, Jenny's just arrived home from dad's, I imagine. So that's what's just happened. So think about, mum's probably expecting Jenny home any minute. So, does dad ever drop her off at the door? Is she expecting to see him maybe? Has she been dressing up for that? She's going out with Terry tonight, but so maybe she's dressing up for that, but maybe she's kind of dressing up thinking more about the dad when she's dressing up subconsciously, when I think about these little things. Maybe she's expecting to see him. Maybe she comes in and, oh, he's not there. He's just dropped you at the door. Oh, already I'm set off. Yeah? Do you see the way you can create a world with what has happened in the moment before that makes you arrive in the scene right from the start rather than finding your way into it? And for Jenny, has she been dealing with his side of it? How is he actually going? Is he really happy? Decide this for yourself. Yeah? What has she just come from with her father? And then what's she kind of dreading when she walks in with her mother maybe? Or maybe she's not. Maybe it's just like matter of fact and just she's... But think about what do you think would make it the most interesting. Up to you. Okay, so you've got your public solitude to practice for your exercise. It's a fantastic thing to practice. Practice it all the time. Practice it when you're actually waiting for a bus. Just see if you can just notice what you're doing, and then what will happen is it will shift into observer mode, and so then it will make you a bit awkward, and that's okay. Just practice. Try to catch yourself and how your body is and how your energy is, how you're feeling internally, and how you move and how you breathe. Try to notice how you are in your daily life. Try to be mindful of what's going on moment to moment and how you act, and try to catch those little, okay, so I really let my weight drop when I'm relaxed, whatever it is, so that you can bring that into your practice as an actor, so that you're not you're not doing all that extra plussing. Oh, I'm acting and I'm holding my breath and my body's all a bit awkward. Practice that. Public solitude. Shoot your scene, upload it to YouTube, send me a link of the YouTube link, make it unlisted if you'd like, and I look forward to seeing your work, and then I'll send you individual feedback. Take care of yourselves, guys. See you next time.